What's going on, Heron Creek neighbors? Daniel Frankson, your neighborhood real estate resource, and of course your neighbor, making another video. And this one, I should say, is inspired by a conversation I've had with a few of you over the last couple weeks as it pertains to value and understanding what we call the price per square footage, right? And I'll get into that in a bit more detail shortly, but essentially why I think that this is very important for us all to understand is because over the years, we've seen both realtors and appraisers come into our neighborhood, use the wrong price per square foot to analyze the value of our homes, and we've seen neighbors leave a tremendous amount of money on the table and not only affect themselves in terms of what they should be getting from the sale of their home, but it leaves the rest of the community in a worse off position as well. So I wanted to chat a bit about that because, again, I think it gives us all a good sense of what our homes are worth from a very basic standpoint. Of course, there are other things that we'd have to take into consideration with each individual home, things such as, is the basement finished, are there any upgrades that have been done, the size of the lot, so on and so forth. But just from a very basic standpoint, I think this is helpful information. So before I kind of jump into that and give you some examples, real life examples, let me start off by giving you the basic formula to identify what the price per square foot is, right? And so the way that we would analyze that in the real estate business, so that would be realtors and also equally important appraisers, that would be taking the sales price of a home and then dividing that by the square footage of the home, and then you would get a number. That number is what you call the price per square foot. So just a very basic example, if you have a home that's 1,000 square feet and it sells for 100,000, you take $100,000, which is the sales price, and you divide that by 1,000 square feet, and then the answer, don't get me to do the math off the top of my head, worst subject, but that answer would be the price per square foot. And so what would happen is, if a neighbor in that community then took that price per square foot and they multiplied that by their square footage, for example, let's say 1,200 square feet, that answer would give them a basic idea of what their home is worth, right? So I'm going to take a quick look at my notes and I'm going to give you an actual real life scenario of a situation and then show you how, if it's not applied properly, how it can skew the numbers and essentially to the detriment of that homeowner and to the neighborhood, drastically reduce the value of the home, right? So the example that I want to give is sale that took place within the last year or so. And in the multiple listing service where all listings go, there's a section where you can input, as the realtor, you can input what the square footage of the property is. Now, the correct way to do this is to take the above grade square footage. And when I say above grade, that means everything from the first level up. And you input that on one line. Then there's an ability for you to take the square footage of everything that's below grade. So for this, you think basement, and that would be any finished space in the basement. You would then put that on another line. And so again, for this, it's important to understand that when we're analyzing the value of a home, typically the rule of thumb is that it's above grade. So you're looking at main level up, and then any finished square footage in the basement is analyzed differently, right? By an appraiser and by us in the real estate profession. So again, in this particular example that I'm going to share with you, you'll see how if an appraiser or a realtor came into the neighborhood and applied these numbers, we'll see how much money they will apply these numbers to your home. You'd see how much money you'd lose based on the calculations being wrong, right? So this particular sale, the home was listed in the MLS as having 4,700 square feet, right? Again, 4,700 square feet is what was listed as the above grade square footage. That home sold for 550,000. So when you do the math on that, 550,000 divided by 4,700, again, purchase price divided by square footage, you get a price per square foot of $117, right? $117 is what you get in that scenario. When in fact, when you go into the tax records, you do a bit more work, dig a bit deeper, or you just have general knowledge of the neighborhood, you would know that that particular home couldn't have been 4,700 square feet above grade. That would have had to include some finished basement square footage. And again, remember, we assessed that differently. So what should have been done, or what should be done in that case, is you look at the above grade square footage for that home, which is actually 3,129 square feet. And what you should then do is take the sales price, 550,000, divide that by the above grade square footage, which in that case is 3,129, and the price per square foot should then work out to be just about $175 per square foot. So again, looking at the difference in the two scenarios, with the incorrect square footage, you get a price per square foot of $117. And with the correct square footage, you get a price per square foot of $175. Now, let me show you how that impacts the entire neighborhood if that information is calculated the incorrect way, right? So just for an example, let's say that your home is 3,500 square feet above grade. So main level, second level, right? Won't worry about if there's a basement or if the basement is finished or not. 3,500 square feet for the home. And let's take the incorrect value first and let's multiply that. So 3,500 square feet times $117 per square foot. And in that scenario, you'd get a value, for a basic value of your home of $409,500, right? So again, 3,500 multiplied by 117 equals $409,500. The grand scheme of things, you can probably just hear already, that sounds way off in terms of the value for our neighborhood. But imagine if an appraiser doesn't understand our neighborhood, doesn't know how our neighborhood is set up, and that's what they're applying. You could see how if you have a contract on your home for $600,000 and the appraiser comes in and they work the numbers and then they go back and tell the bank, well, no, the home is not worth anywhere close to $600,000. It really should be about $410,000. Now you're in a dilemma. Or if it's a realtor coming in to, potentially list your home for sale and they don't understand again how the value should be set up, they're going to potentially tell you an incorrect number. And here's how big of a difference it can be if they're using that incorrect calculation. So with using the correct calculation in this example, 3,500 square feet above grade square footage, and you multiply that by a better price per square footage, or a more accurate price per square footage of 175, you get a value of $612,500. So again, 3,500 square feet multiplied by a more accurate price per square foot of $175 gets you a total basic value of $612,500. Now remember, using the incorrect square footage, it had us at $409,500. The correct price per square foot has us at $612,500. That's a total difference of $203,000. I don't know about you. I know for myself personally, there is no way I'd be trying to leave $200,000 on the table if I decided to sell my home. In reality, I'm not even really trying to leave $2,000 on the table, but could you imagine leaving $200,000 on the table? It's crazy. So again, even though it's a simple miscalculation, we all have to understand that miscalculation that goes into the system. And when realtors that don't know our neighborhood come in and they're looking at what we call comps, comparative properties, they are going to see that misinformation. They might come in and they might really think that that home is 4,700 square feet. It's not 4,700 square feet. It's just under 3,200 square feet. And that difference could result in them valuing your home at well over six figures below where it should be. So again, I know this is a bit of a drawn out video, but I hope that gives you a sense of the importance of a realtor or an appraiser or even yourself using the correct values to estimate and understand the basic value of your home. Again, this video is not going to take into consideration if the home has a basement, if the basement is finished. Of course, that 175 number, that's accurate. That could go down by $10 to $15 or so. It could go up by $10 to $15 or so. It really depends, but that's where a more, one-on-one conversation about your actual home will come into play. But for the purpose of this video, that miscalculation on the square footage that's in the system, it's in the MLS. So any realtor that's analyzing our community is going to see that misinformation. Any appraiser that's analyzing our community, they're going to see that misinformation. And if they're not properly educated on that, you're potentially going to leave a lot of money on the table. So again, I hope this video is helpful for you all. If you'd like to discuss what your home is valued or just get a sense of that, as always, feel free to give me a call. There's nothing more I like to talk about than real estate as it pertains to us as the Heron Creek family. And my goal and mission is always to ensure that even if I don't get the opportunity to assist you with the sale of the home when the time comes, at least we can ensure that you have the knowledge and you have the information to ensure that you're getting top dollar for your home, which is a benefit to you moving on to your next venture. And also we're leaving the neighborhood in the best position possible. And that should always be the goal when we look to sell homes in our neighborhood. So as always, Daniel Frankson, your neighbor real estate resource. If I can help you with anything at all, don't hesitate to give me a buzz, and I look forward to chatting soon. All right, take care.